Maybe. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United have apparently made a £54 million bid for Milan Skriniar, who is on my left, from Inter Milan. And look, it's very interesting. I can see people in the live comments already saying, I'd rather have Koulibaly. Well, you know what? To me, I'd say Koulibaly is a better signing than Skriniar, but Skriniar is 23 and Koulibaly is 27. There's a 4-year difference, and I think there's growth and development in Skriniar, whereas I think Koulibaly is probably in his prime years. I think Skriniar at 27 could be better than Koulibaly. It's about what you want, isn't it? I mean, what a week it's been. We know we need a centre-back at United. You've got Koulibaly, strong links. You've got Manlas, strong summer links. Now you've got Skriniar. All coming from Italian reports. None of them coming from British reports because they haven't got a bloody clue. It's really interesting. I mean, and also I must just say, I'm going to be very, very even-handed here. That you've got the Times saying that United aren't going to sign anybody. Apparently, well, I don't know whether that's factual. I got a direct message about that from somebody. But the reality is, nobody knows whether United are going to do anything or not. You know, nobody knew that Mourinho was going to get sacked. Nobody knew Mourinho was going to get sacked, and it happened. So maybe United have changed things slightly. I just will say what I've said before. I think United need to sign players in this January transfer window. Chelsea are now, I've spoken about Chelsea so many times, about how they will go out and be ruthless and aggressive. They'll get rid of the Deadwood. They'll bring in new players. That's what Chelsea do. That's what United need to do. Chelsea are meant to be after Higuain now and loaning Morata out. I mean, how ruthless is that to do that in January? So, let's talk about Milan Skriniar, because you may not know a lot about him. 23 years of age. Wears the number 37 shirt. You should be able to read. It's on your side there. Obviously, his goals and assists stats are not that good, but he's a centre-back. He's played 23 games for Inter Milan. He is Slovakian. That is the little bit of the flag you can see, and he currently plays for Inter Milan. The issue with Skriniar at the moment is, to give you a bit of a background on it. So Skriniar is a centre-back. I mentioned Skriniar probably, wouldn't be a year ago, probably be about 10 months ago. I started mentioning him around March time because I watch Italian football, and I said that there's a centre-back at Inter Milan who I think is the closest thing out there to Vidic. So that was a year ago, and he's had a fantastic year since then. In the summer, I was talking about him, and we were tentatively linked to him at Manchester United, but obviously nothing ever materialised. I personally think Mourinho actually did quite want Skriniar. And then obviously now we're in this situation where we need a centre-back, and we are being linked to him now. I don't think the links to Skriniar have ever been massively strong. However, Tancredo Palmieri, who is a journalist on Twitter with quite a lot of followers, but a lot of people don't actually think he's very credible. He said either late last night or this morning that Skriniar is definitely on the agenda for Manchester United, and he is far, far away from signing a new contract with Inter Milan. We've then had from Italian reports this afternoon that Manchester United made a £54 million bid, which is a €60 million bid, which has been rejected because Inter Milan won 80 million. Now, I presume that's probably €80 million, which would be around £75 million. And all I would keep saying about that is that I really hope that Ed Woodward is not going to be a tight arse on this, because we've missed out on signings before because of being tight arses. Perisic 2 years ago, Alexandro last summer. We didn't get these players because we didn't want to overpay. And you know, you can believe what you want to believe. Of course you can. That is your right. But the reality is very, 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 very strong indications that United were going to sign Perisic but wouldn't go up to, I think it was 45 million. We were holding out at 40. And Alexandro the same. We didn't want to pay a certain amount of money. Now, you'd say, well, Luke Shaw is... I would rather have Luke Shaw as our left back than Alexandro. Some would disagree with that, but that worked out quite well. But we cannot be going cheap on this centre-back. This centre-back that we're going to sign is to complement Lindelof or Bailly, but it's to be our best centre-back. We are buying our best centre-back here, and that's taking nothing away from Lindelof or Bailly, but this centre-back is meant to be our kingpin. And I think if you spend the money on Koulibaly, you get a kingpin centre-back. If you spend the money on Skriniar, you get a kingpin centre-back. With Manlas, I don't know whether you do. I do like Manlas, but I don't know whether he is going to be that kingpin. I think Skriniar would be. He's a leader for Inter Milan at the back. Now, that's the interesting thing with Joachim Anderson, opinion, looks of talent, says Paulie, 117900. Now, if you're speaking about the person I think you're speaking about, it's the Sampdoria centre-back. And we have been linked to him in the past. I don't think he's in the same category, to be honest. to be honest with you. Aki instead of Valencia, says Gabriel Akari. Aki's more of a centre-back, to be honest, mate. I think he can play as a right-back, but he's more of a centre-back. Laid Black Dude says that Koulibaly is more short-term, whereas Thais Ravenhill says he'd have Koulibaly 1, Skriniar 2, Manolas 3. And I think that's probably where we would all probably sit with that. I'm not going to refute or argue with that. But let me just tell you the situation with Skriniar. So they have got Stefan de Vrij, who they got in from Lazio, the Dutch centre-back, who was a player we were linked with a few years ago when Van Gaal was here. They're also looking to bring Godin in. But Skriniar, they're trying to pin him down on a new contract, but he wants the same amount of money that de Vrij is on, which is about 3.3 million a year. I think he's on about half of that. And apparently he's a long, long way off from signing the new contract at Inter Milan, which may mean that he may force a move. Interestingly enough with Skriniar though, and again I can't totally confirm this because I don't speak Slovakian, he put an Instagram post out apparently this afternoon calling local Slovakian press shit, and I think the local Slovakian press had linked him with a move away out of Inter Milan. So you don't know what's true and what's not true. I think that what I would say is that this Manchester United transfer window, I went into it predicting we were going to make a signing, and I'm not going to change that. It also has the feeling of last year to me, where we're relatively early in, a third into the transfer window, and people are starting to say, "Oh, we're not going to do any business. We're not going to do any business." And then Alexis Sanchez deal came out of nowhere. So I think United can do business. I've got to be honest with you. If United signed Koulibaly or Skriniar, I would be ecstatic. I think those two, for me, are the creme de la creme of signing the centre back for Manchester United. And I'll tell you what. You can argue with me whether there's a difference between Manolas and Koulibaly. I certainly think Koulibaly's better, but I don't think Manolas is bad. I think the difference between Koulibaly and Skriniar is a lot closer than people probably think. There are a lot of... they're not similar in the way they play. Skriniar's better in the air. Skriniar is more powerful. I'd say they're both about the same with their distribution. Koulibaly's a bit quicker. But as I said, I think Skriniar, if you're talking about a graph here, I would say that Koulibaly is here and Skriniar is here, but Skriniar's on his way up, and he's got 4 years on Koulibaly. When Skriniar's 27, he could surpass Koulibaly. But even if he gets to the same depth, they're probably going to cost around the same money. But I suppose, if you're paying 80 million for Skriniar, you're paying 80 million for Koulibaly, you're getting another 4 years out of Skriniar. I mean, if we sign Skriniar, he could be here for 10 years. If you sign Koulibaly, probably 5. So that's something. But I really like him. And I'm glad in many ways that we do the United stand, obviously, but I'm glad that we do the transfers, and we're very passionate about the transfers as a community, because you will know, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, that there are certain players that do get mentioned quite a lot, and Skriniar is a player that I've been talking about, like I say, for about 10 months, so I'd be very, very happy if we signed him, because you don't always sign the players that you go on about. Fabinho, I really wanted Fabinho, and I know he's at Liverpool and they're our biggest rival, but I really did want him, and I went on about him for a long time. Lozano's another one. I've been on about him for a while. But no, I really would like Skriniar. I really would. Mohamed Tamaz says that Koulibaly is a £110 million deal. We'll get him for cheaper than that. I'm fed up with being linked with all these players, but we never sign them. If we're a big club, then let's start acting like it and buy the best, says Indy Kiki. I think there's a lot of truth in that. I wouldn't get frustrated yet. If we get to the January 31st and we've not signed anybody, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, feel-good factor or not, I will be saying that I'm not very happy with the board, because that's not Ole's fault. Ole's coming in on a short term. Whoever the next manager is, Manchester United need a centre-back. And whoever the next manager is, it can be Noddy, it can be Zidane, it can be bloody Theresa May. It doesn't matter who the next manager of Manchester United is. We need a bloody centre-back. And if we sign a top-class centre-back, they ain't going to moan. Like I said last night, you sign Koulibaly, Zidane walks in, he ain't going to go, "Oh, I wanted Jerome Boateng." He's not going to do that. He's going to go, "Oui, oui, thank you very much." With a bit of Scottish-French accent. But this is what I mean. The board, if I hear this bloody nonsense from anybody that the club don't want to sign anybody at the moment, where's my calculator? I don't want to sign anybody at the moment because we haven't got a new manager. Sod that. That's nonsense. I don't want to sign anybody at the moment because we don't know. And the best one of the lot, I don't want to sign anybody at the moment because we don't know what our new manager might want. What a crock of crap. The truth is, you don't want to sign anybody at the moment because the longer you keep your pot of money in the bank, the more interest you earn. That's the truth. Spend the bloody money, start sorting the problem out on the pitch, because, as we have said, if we bought a top-class centre-back now, we would probably get top 4. If we don't, we might get top 4, but we might not. This is the parameters. This is the guideline. This is the thin margins. Bringing in a top player now can be the difference to get us top 4. Not doing it, you're risking this squad. What if Lindelof gets injured again and you've got to play Phil Jones and Chris Smalling? We ain't getting top 4. That's what we're talking about here. I mean, for me, as I said, long term, I think there are other positions that are more priority-wise, but we do need a centre-back. And there is no excuse to not going spending money in this transfer window. And I'll be very, very angry if they do. As I said before, I'm very, very happy about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being our manager. There's massive positivity around the club, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But let's not let it paper the cracks. Ole's there to do a short-term job, and he's doing fantastically well with the resources he's got. It's a bit like saying to somebody, come into my bedroom. No, we're not going that way. And finish the wallpaper for me. But I'm watering down the paste. You know, you can do a job, but that might peel off. You go down B&Q, you buy some fucking Solvite, some proper Solvite bloody wallpaper paste, you paste it on the wall and it stays up. Go out and buy him some better stuff. You know, that's what I mean. Give him the materials to do the job. That's effectively what I'm saying. Give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the materials to do the job at Manchester United. And there is no excuse not to do it this January transfer window. And look, maybe Skriniar isn't going to leave Inter Milan this January. Maybe Manolas isn't going to leave. Maybe Koulibaly's not going to leave. De Ligt has come out and said he's not leaving Ajax. So for anybody who's saying, we should go and get De Ligt from Ajax, we ain't getting him until the summer. So I don't know. There are United fans who say, let's not get anyone this summer, this transfer window, and let's wait till the summer. I think that's a waste of a transfer window, for one, because I don't see the difference. I think at the end of the day, the 31 days of January is a transfer window. It's like a bolt-on to the summer. It's like, let's start now. And I really do believe that. I think people who are saying, well, let's wait till the summer and see what the new manager wants. Well, as I said, there are certain signings that you can make that any manager's going to want. I mean, look, does Zidane... I flip it the other way, right? And I'm only saying Zidane. I could say Pochettino, right? But for those people who say, let's not sign anybody now because the new manager might not want them, do you think the new manager's going to walk in the door and want Phil Jones? We're going to give Phil Jones a new contract. So what's the bloody difference? You know, what is the difference? We're going to give Phil Jones a new contract. We're going to give Ashley Young a new contract. We're going to give Juan Mata a new contract. We're going to give Valencia a new contract. That's like signing players because they're free to go. So that is a total cop-out to say we're not signing anybody until we know who the new manager is because they might not want them. I guarantee the new manager doesn't want Phil Jones here, but you're going to give him a contract. It's the same thing. The new manager's going to walk in and there's going to be players in that squad that he doesn't want anyway. So go and buy a top-class centre-back because they'll definitely want them. You're telling me the new manager's going to walk in the door and say, what? What did you sign Manolas for or Koulibaly? I wanted Phil Jones and Rojo. You know, it's not going to happen. It isn't going to happen. We need 2 defenders, says Miggy F. Well, I don't know whether I'd sign 2. I don't know whether I'd sign 2 because I think that's, probably too far. Pardon the pun. But we definitely need a centre-back. This is the difference between getting a Champions League spot or not. Toby Alderweireld says RL. Tell you what, he had a good game last night. Rojo and 80 million for Koulibaly. Says Mark Urepa. So basically, it's 80 million for Koulibaly. It's like saying Rojo, Jones and Fellaini plus 80 million for Koulibaly. It's still 80 million for Koulibaly. Napoli would probably just say, I'll have the 80 million. Rojo plus 80 million is still 80 million. Rojo has no value. Neither does Phil Jones. Neither does Fellaini. It's 80 million, isn't it? Any player that's better than Jones and Smalling will do for me, says Crazy Tiggs. Christian Patterson says, this transfer window has to be used well to set ourselves up well for next season. Exactly. You just can't waste it. You can't waste it. We should buy Deno Driss. He's the best young centre-back for me, says Ali Osman. I like Akanji from Dortmund if we're talking about young centre-backs, to be honest with you. Joel Pereira is back from loan, Mark, Man United fan. I didn't know that, and I don't know why he is back so soon. If we don't get the defender we need, top four may not be possible, in which case we can't attract anybody in the summer, says Vivek. Yeah. I think United are going to do business in this transfer window. And until January the 31st, I ain't going to moan about it, because I really do think that we will. I just want to bring a couple of other things in. Michael Carrick, obviously they're in Dubai at the moment. Michael Carrick has been speaking to the press, as have a lot of the players. It's like a mini pre-season tour for them, really. And I hope that you look at Spurs playing last night. We've got a massive game on Sunday. You look at Spurs last night. They had a tough game against Chelsea. I thought Spurs were really poor last night as well. They looked really sort of leggy. And looking at it from a Sunday point of view, but also looking at it from a do you want Pochettino point of view. I've said this to you a few times, and I'm not taking credit for this. I've been told this by Spurs fans that, and I think I first mentioned it on the United Stand maybe 2 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago, because we've been talking about getting rid of Mourinho for ages, haven't we? One of the things that Spurs fans level at Pochettino is that he doesn't make substitutions or tactical changes quick enough. He lets it drag on and on and on. And I watched that game last night, and Chelsea, after the Spurs goal, Chelsea did what they did for the last 15 minutes of the first half and all of the second half. He didn't change it at half time, and he didn't change it for at any time in the second half. And realistically, they were quite lucky that Chelsea didn't get a goal. But from a Sunday point of view, I don't think Spurs looked that good. And from a Sunday point of view, I think Spurs look quite tired. We're in Dubai, having a week off, doing a bit of fitness work. That bodes really well for us. Also, long term, is that something to put in the back of your head about Pochettino? Do you want a manager that doesn't change things when it's staring you in the face? Ben Edwards says Man City are winning 4-0. To be honest with you, I think the United Stand football team would do a better job than Burton. It was an easy game for them today. Man City will definitely be in the final. Maybe he'll play his kids in the replay, because he certainly didn't play them tonight. Pep doesn't play kids, but don't worry, you won't get any bad press about it. But yeah, in relation to the game at the weekend as well, I just also think that watching that game yesterday, I don't want to talk about that too much because we've got a preview tomorrow night with and stuff to build up for the Spurs game. But I do look at it and I think that United have got to defend well against Spurs to get something out of the game. And I worry. The last 2 times Phil Jones has been to Wembley, he has cost us big time. Once against Spurs a year ago, once in the FA Cup final. And I think Phil Jones is going to play, isn't he? Because Eric Bailly is suspended. So unless Smalling's back, praise Smalling's back, Phil Jones has got to have a flawless game in that game. And Harry Kane dominated him the last time they played. And also, the home game in August. Phil Jones played in that game, didn't he, as well? He was absolutely shit, if I remember correctly. Was it Phil Jones? I think it was. It was Phil Jones, yeah. So, yeah, that's what worries me about the Spurs game. I think we can win that game, but we've got to defend well. Last time we went to Spurs, a year ago, we gave them a 2-0 lead because of mistakes from Young and Jones. We've got to defend well. But Carrick said that the place is buzzing, the squad's buzzing. And that's very interesting from Michael Carrick to say that, because Michael Carrick sat next to Jose, didn't he, with McKenna, and was always very positive about him, which is a loyal thing to be. But I think even in the demeanour of Michael Carrick, we're seeing a different Michael Carrick now, and a different squad. And I'm really just hoping that this week off in Dubai, the buzz around the squad, the fact that Spurs have played midweek, that hopefully we can go there and get something significant, because I think Spurs are there to be got at, and I think it's going to be a cracking game. I absolutely can't wait for it. And look, I hope we get the points, because I think Arsenal have got West Ham. I think Chelsea have got a game that's winnable. So we need to win just to keep the pressure up. We need the points. We definitely need the points. Ruru says, somebody said, what about Darmian at centre-back? He's better than Jones. I agree with Saldat. It's the pink boots, Marcus, the bloody pink boots, says Chris Muddy 39. It's a bit 2018, but we need a Euro-savvy manager, not a never-won-it Premier League manager, says Paul Oliver. I think Darmian deserves more respect, says Sanjay. I really, I don't think he deserves more respect, to be honest with you. I think Darmian needs to be sold. He is captain of Deadwood FC. What I'm eager as a fan personally to say is that I don't want history to be rewritten at Manchester United. I like the positivity that Ollie's bringing in, and Mourinho was the problem at Manchester United, but he wasn't totally the problem. People who have been stealing a living at United for 2, 3, 4, 5 years are still stealing a living now. There are still a lot of players in that squad that need clearing out. Deadwood FC is still alive and kicking, and there are players that need kicking out of that club. And it doesn't matter how positive you feel, they don't get a second chance because they've had, some of them have played under 3 managers and they're still crap. So no, I'm all for the positivity. There are certain players that we will see the best of now Mourinho's gone, but there are still a number of players in that squad that need kicking out. They don't get second chances. And some of them are well into their 30s, some of them are knocking on 30. This is not about development or second chances. They're not good enough, they need to go. In the case of Darmian, nothing against him. He is never going to be a top-class centre-back or right-back in the English league. He suits the Italian league. He wants to go back to Italy. He wanted to go back in the summer. Mourinho kept him. He needs to go. And we could get 15 million for him, so he needs to go. We need to be looking elsewhere. And that's the ruthlessness I'm talking about. That's my personal opinion, but that is it. Lloyd Christmas says, who is in Deadwood FC? Well, they've definitely got a 5-a-side team. Darmian, Valencia, Jones, Young, Fellaini. Definitely those 5. Rojo, probably. Yeah, Rojo. Yeah. And then the subs, for me, the borderlines, McTominay. I'd maybe even put Mata there now. I know that's really controversial because I really love Juan Mata. But I don't know what his future at United is. He's losing pace, and we don't play with a number 10. So, and he's out of contract. So I just think maybe it's time to let him go. Yeah, don't know. But you know what? I genuinely do think it's time to be ruthless and aggressive. Chelsea are doing it, folks. Chelsea are doing it. They are. They're above us by 6 points, and they are making big moves in the transfer market because they want to be first. You know, we're not even making moves yet to try and be 4th. Don't be kidded. There's a lot of work to do at United still. Mata is not Deadwood, says Matty at 7. Well, it's down to you, mate. It's up to you. It's all about opinion. That's what the United stand's always been about. It's always that about opinion. I don't need to explain myself to you because I've already done it. What did I say about Juan Mata? He's had his worst season at United I've ever seen. He's lost about 2 yards apace, and he's out of contract, and he's 31 in about 3 months. What's the point in keeping him? Let him go to Spain, where he's from, and play out his days in a decent football team that actually uses him properly. We've never used Mata properly. I'm being ruthless because if we move Mata, look. All right, let me blunt. If you want a right midfielder, and we all know we need a right midfielder, we ain't just going to buy a right midfielder. We have got Sanchez, Mata, Lingard, Rashford, Martial. We've got 5 players who can play out wide. Without Chong coming through, that's 6. 6 players who can play wide. Pereira, 7. So we've got 7 options who can play wide. Do you think any manager can go to Ed Woodward and say, spend 50 million on a wide player for me? He's going to go, you having a laugh? You've got 7 players that can play in that position and you want me to spend more money. Get rid of somebody. So who are you going to get rid of? You're going to get rid of Chong? No. You're going to get rid of Pereira? Well, he's not really a winger anyway. You're going to get rid of Lingard? No. You're going to get rid of Rashford? No. You're going to get rid of Martial? No. Which leaves you 2 options. You're going to get rid of Mata or Sanchez. Now, I'm open for a discussion on that, but they ain't going to sell Sanchez because no one's going to pay his wages. Like, we got him for free, but we made him the best paid player in the Premier League. So let's say Sanchez is on 400 grand, right? For us to get rid of... This is what people don't get about Alexis Sanchez. He has got to come good for us because we cannot get rid of him. He's not an option to get rid of. We're paying him... Whatever the best paid player in the Premier League is on, I don't know. But he admitted that. He said, I'm really proud to be the best paid player in the Premier League. He said it in the summer. So let's say he's on 350 grand, whatever. Okay. So we would want a transfer fee as well. We're not going to let him go for free because he's under contract. That was Arsenal's mistake. So he's under contract and someone's got to pay 350 grand a week for him. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. So Sanchez is staying, which leaves Mata by deduction. And that's why I would move him on, because we do need a right midfielder who can get a crossing and who is quick. David Jordan says sell both. I think we're stuck with Alexis Sanchez. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing if he can find some form. But Shantana Diar says that Sanchez is Deadwood captain. We can't get rid of Sanchez for the reasons I've just said there. Who's going to pay his wages and who's actually going to give us any money for him? We need Barella. Ella says A. Ahmed. Look, that Barella video we did a couple of days ago, the Cagliari midfielder, I would love him to come to us simply because I think he has the potential to be absolutely amazing, but also I just don't expect United to sign a midfielder. And if we signed a midfielder, I would be very excited. They'd be banging on this table. I'd be so excited. And I don't mean that bang. Fred says Trevor Sheldon, is he Deadwood? I think Fred deserves more time. Sanchez to China. China's probably our only hope, laid back dude. Yeah. Sanchez to China is China is the sort of thing again, isn't it? China, maybe you're right. Very good. A lot of people mention it as well. China could be the way out. Yeah. I didn't miss Valencia and Young out, Daryl. I put them in pretty early in the five-a-side team. Keith Boyne says Sanchez is finished at the top level. Why doesn't Sanchez play on the right, says Somjit? Exactly, I'd love to see that happen. I really would. We all love Ander Herrera, says Ollie Rogerson. Yeah, I don't know whether I mentioned it on the show last night, but apparently Ander Herrera is going to sign a new contract now that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the manager and the positivity around the club has changed. I think he was going to go if Mourinho stayed, to be honest. I do. Ari Guadala says, Mark, off topic, I said it a long time ago, Sanchez needs to go. I really don't see him improving. I'd rather sell him and get something for him and develop Chong properly for the right wing. Not off topic, and I think you're spot on. That table has suffered enough, says James Mellier. I want Thiago and De Jong signed for our midfield, says Andrew Ellis. Good players. Can we get Harry Maguire, says Bolu Adebayo. I saw something about Harry Maguire yesterday, and I was half tempted to put it in Transfer Daily, but then I thought I just don't believe it. So I think it was Arsenal and United linked to Harry Maguire for 75 million. You're not going to sign Harry Maguire for 75 million when you can get this guy for the same price. You're not going to get Harry Maguire for 75 million when you can get Koulibaly for the same price. I like Harry Maguire. I wanted him in the summer because he was better than what we've got. But if this is where it's very important with United centre-back signing, because I believe we will sign a centre-back, but I think the most interesting thing is how good that centre-back's going to be, how much this club is willing to spend to get back where it needs to be. Because Skriniar's available at the right price. Koulibaly's available at the right price. Even someone like Alderweireld is available at the right price. De Ligt is available at the right price. If we don't go for any of those four and we end up with a Manolas or a Militao, then we're scrimping. We're scrimping instead of. I always believe if you are playing catch up, then you need to go out and buy the best parts to catch up. It's like a racing track, isn't it? There's 5 cars out quicker than us at the moment, and we ain't going to win the race by just buying something that's okay for the car. We've got to buy something that's better than everyone else to try and break. There's a gap in front of us. We've got to bridge that gap. Darren Sweetman, we need to start signing the best in whatever position. I agree. I think we definitely need to do that. And I think it started quite well under Mourinho. When we went and bought Pogba, you're buying one of the best midfielders in the world. Zlatan, yeah. But I think other than Pogba in the last few years, we haven't really gone out and bought somebody where I've gone, they're the best in their position, or one of the best in their position, or can be one of the best in their position. I don't think our signings have been that. I mean, Lukaku is a good striker, but he's not one of the best strikers in the world. Matic is a good midfielder, but he's on the decline. Sanchez, I think we should have listened to Arsenal fans about Sanchez, to be honest, because they were saying he was on the decline. Ryan James says, you mean 4 cars, Mark? No, there's 5 cars ahead of us. We're 6th, mate. We are signing Ronaldo, says Joe Barrett. Yeah. I think this is going to be the first transfer window this summer where we don't do a video on Ronaldo. It's sad, isn't it, really? But never came, though. GG says that 54 million is never going to be enough. Well, that's the reported fee that we've put in for Skriniar, but it won't be enough. No, 54 million won't be enough. They'll probably want 80. Thoughts on Aaron Ramsey to Juventus, says Saran. I didn't want him at United anyway, so I'm not bothered. Buy a Cardi in the summer, says Andrew Ellis. I would love a Cardi. I would love a Cardi at Manchester United. Is Fosu Mensah back, says Famid? Yes, there is an update. I'm glad you said that. Fosu Mensah wants to get out of Fulham. I think Fulham want him out of Fulham as well. But the story with Fosu Mensah is that he wants to go to another club for the last few months of the season on loan because he doesn't see himself getting game time at United. He wasn't getting much game time at Fulham, to be fair. So that's a positive for me. I think Fosu Mensah needs to go and get himself a club very, very quickly. Otherwise, his future is going to be cut short at Manchester United. Troops UK Music. Skriniar's more like 90 million. His age is 23. Yeah. I don't think we'll need to pay 90 million for him. But what I will say is, the scrimping needs to stop at Manchester United. Van Dijk cost Liverpool £75 million a year ago, and he's been a revelation for Liverpool. If you want a centre-back that's going to come into your club and take over your centre-backs and take over your defence and improve you, that to me is a kingpin centre-back. The price is set. Van Dijk costs 75 million. United should start their bidding for whoever they're going for at 75 million. Obviously, don't go and bid 75 million for bloody Aki or at Bournemouth, but identify your top target and go for them. And 75 million is the going rate. And actually, a year on, it's probably 80 million, isn't it? So offering 54 million or 60 million or whatever, it's just bartering. But realistically, our top limit has got to be 80 million. This centre-back, as I said, this centre-back that we're looking at, they're not coming in to be potential. They're not coming in to be understudy to Lindelof or play alongside Lindelof. They're coming in to sort our centre-back out, to sort our defence out. That's what this centre-back is. It's the leader. It's the kingpin. That's what we're paying for. And you should be willing to pay £80 million for that. You can't cut corners at Manchester United anymore. Van Dijk is crap, says ML67 forehand. Yeah, I'm not even a Liverpool fan. I can't stand Liverpool, but he's a good centre-back, and he's sorted them out, to be honest with you. I would love to sign De Jong, Barella or Havertz, says Dylan Walsh. I'd love to sign a midfielder full stop. And Amersing makes an interesting point. He says, I don't feel any need for a centre-back. Bailly and Lindelof would be a world-class partnership if given some game times together. But you know, we were doing the watch-along on That's Football last night, and we were talking about Eric Bailly, me and Marcus, and we were saying that I do like Eric Bailly, but at what point does the ruthlessness stop? The recklessness stop? He's either injured because he's reckless, or he's been sent off because he's reckless. At what point is he going to mature that we could ever see Lindelof and Bailly become a world-class partnership? And when you're talking about world-class partnerships, I think about Pallister and Bruce. I think about Ferdinand and Vidic. Do I think Lindelof and Bailly are anywhere near that? No, they're nowhere near. That's a world-class centre-back pairing. I don't think Lindelof and Bailly are a world-class pairing. I don't think they've got the potential to be either. They could be, but the potential's not there because potential is based on evidence. Potential is based on glimpses, and I haven't seen enough from Eric Bailly. I like Eric Bailly, but I actually think it's on him. It's on the lad himself. He's too reckless. That tackle he did the other week has now meant that he's missed 3 important games. When he's not doing tackles like that, he's doing tackles and getting himself injured. Like, everyone says, oh, he's so brave and everything like that, and he's full of passion, which he is. But why did Ferdinand never get those sort of red cards? And Vidic, Vidic did get a few red cards, to be fair. But they didn't get major injuries. You've got to learn to play the game of football and with your body. You know, it's all right putting your body on the line, but getting yourself injured with the frequency that he does, there's something wrong with your game, mate. He needs to, I don't know what the word is really, but he needs to sort of survey the game a little bit more instead of just jumping in all the time. I think a lot of his reckless tackles come because he's misjudged a ball and he's having to do last-ditch reckless tackles. He needs to read the game a little bit better so that instead of doing the reckless tackles, he's more mature in the way he's playing football and he's anticipating better. I don't think he anticipates danger quick enough. He's very, very quick, and that's why he gets himself out of trouble. But he has to throw his body in the way a lot of the time. And I like Eric Bailly, but We do need a centre-back. We definitely do need a centre-back. Darren Sweetman, I have a feeling most people think Koulibaly is great because of FIFA. I've never used Koulibaly on FIFA. I watch Italian football and he's a good centre-back. And actually, people shouldn't be judging him off FIFA because he's played against Liverpool twice this season. He's played against PSG twice this season. That's 4 games that most people should have seen him in. And the Liverpool games especially, he was bloody fantastic. And that's against British Premier League opposition. So I can't... Koulibaly is fantastic. Jacob's right. He needs to conduct himself better. James Joyce says, no, we do not need a centre-back. It was a very good comeback, James. No, we do not need a centre-back. We do. We do need a centre-back. Prince says, Mark, you supported Bailly after that game for that tackle. Pick a side. Mate, I did back Bailly after that tackle. I'd had about 8 pints of lager and I'd just come out of the pub. And then the next video I said, I've had a chance to watch it and sober up. He was reckless. So you're right. I did back him, but I was pissed. And then when I sobered up, I said he was reckless and stupid. He didn't need to do that tackle. So yeah, you're right and you're wrong. Andrew Ellis makes a good point. We need better fullbacks than Shaw and Young. You know, off the top of my head, I don't want to do this show now. Please do drop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes because there's a lot of people watching. As per usual, absolutely great to have you involved. But look, off the top of my head, we need a centre-back. We need a CDM. We need a right midfielder. We need decent cover for both fullbacks. We probably need a first-choice right-back. I don't know about Dalot yet, so that's 5. We definitely need another striker. That's 6. That's over half the team we need to change. We need to make signings for. So we're a long way off. Dennis G2000, who's our next director of football? I don't know, Dennis. I don't know who our next director of football is. But we do need one. Chris Toner says Football Index, Mark. I only do Football Index on the Transfer Daily in the morning. So it's great that a lot of you are getting involved in that. I've actually had some people tweeting me about it, asking for some tips. So I'm glad people are getting involved in it. If you want to play it, it's on the Transfer Daily video this morning, or you can watch tomorrow morning. Which reminds me, actually, I just want to let you know, I've put a link in the video description. I did a video today on my channel. I'm going to start doing stuff on my channel, which isn't necessarily totally about Manchester United or football, but I think you'll enjoy it. I put the link in the video description. Basically, it was me. I'm basically going to do a weekly video on my channel answering your questions that get voted the most. So the first question I asked was about a rematch with DT and Arsenal Fan TV. My future at United Stand, which is quite revealing. My thoughts on Hazard, and also, what else? A few other things. So the link's in the video description. It's only 10 minutes. If you've not watched it, please give it a watch and subscribe to that channel because I'll be doing stuff on there. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I've got Expressions on. He's doing a preview with me for the Spurs game. That's going to be interesting. And Transfer Daily's back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. as per usual. We've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference reaction first thing Friday, and then rub your hands together because it's the weekend, boys and girls, and it's a massive game on Sunday. Thanks everybody for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Drop a like on the video. Get involved with the channel. Loads and loads to talk about at the moment. And I'll see you all in the morning. Thanks for watching. And please give a watch of my video. The link's in the video description.